Hello everybody, welcome to part 17 of Let's Play Final Fantasy 16 Blind. So we are here in the town, I can't remember what the town is called, but we're here. So let's just carry on.
Run along now, before one of the boys starts thinking you're something you're not.
Excuse me, but what was all that about earlier?
You haven't heard? Someone's been stirring up trouble. There've been attacks on the garrison, supplies stolen. They even say a Black Shield was murdered. The Empire wants answers, and what the Empire wants, the Empire gets.
Don't they just?
Keep your ears open, eh? The Black Shields will pay good coin for information on the culprits. You'd have to be dull as a sack of stones to think you could take on the Empire. What with their 100 fools? We're going hunting for outlaws. How do you like that, boy?
Wait, is it about the Black Shield that we murdered at the sort of church area? I think that's what they're talking about.
You seen him, didn't you?
I'm sorry.
The Black Shields. Just now. You seen him, didn't you? At least I think there was a Black Shield. Can't say I ever saw one before.
Was this the first time they visited the village?
Well, what do you think? Amber's the arse end of nowhere. And they thought we might be harboring firebrands. Huh. If only we were. I might have turned him in and become a Black Shield myself.
You don't think these firebrands the Empire is looking for could be us, do you?
I don't know. But we need to find out. Greetings, friend. We are travelers.
I know that. What do you want?
We couldn't help noticing those Imperial soldiers who were here earlier.
Don't you go telling these strangers a thing. I speak for the people of this village, and we have nothing more to say to you. You are to leave Amber and never come back.
May I at least ask why?
I don't know who you are or what brings you here, but your presence puts us all in grave danger. The Empire is a harsh master. Its demands are great, and its justice swift. But as long as we keep our heads down and pay our tributes, we are left alone. Some might call it submission. But if it will spare my people the Viceroy's wrath, then I will gladly submit. This village will not become another Eastpool.
Then we shall be on our way.
Wow, well, he was pretty clear.
These people live with a knife to their throats. In the mistaken belief that if they cooperate, my mother will show them mercy.
Obedience bought with fear.
Are you all right?
Sorry, It's nothing. We still don't know who the Black Shields are looking for.
Well, whoever they are, the Imperials deem them worth pursuing to the back of beyond. But other than Martha, who else in Rosari would have the courage to stand against the Empire? A new ally would certainly be welcome. Can we find them before the Imperials do? Perhaps the next village will yield more answers.
Perhaps.
Okay, next village it is. I won't use the chocobo now because this is like a new area, so...
This pass will take us through the mountains.
And directly into the path of whoever or whatever lurks here.
Oh, I need to change my profile to... Oh, okay. These are new-ish.
Ever since the Apodatory, we've seen more and more of these echoes.
What do you think is waking them? The Mother Crystal's collapse?
I have an idea. You're not going to like it.
me, boy.
Okay. Oh gosh, we've got decisions. Let's go this way. I don't know what I'm doing during limit break. I'm literally just like spamming buttons, and it seems to somewhat work. I think I'm gonna go this way now. Oh, hello.
More of my mother's men.
Well, they deserve to die. I think this ability here is actually really cool, but it is a little bit more on the situational side. Oh, bombs. I love how they're not absorbing fire. I don't know what I'm doing. I'm in the wrong way, that's what I am doing. It's a very weird whistling noise. It's the same sort of whistling noise you'd make like when there's a hot, guy or man walking past, so just interesting. Also, I'm getting completely disorientated. This way.
You deserve a rest.
Lord. This is a very ominous looking hallway. Oh, hello. I think there was a treasure somewhere nearby. I remember seeing it. I definitely remember. Oh, I can't remember what it was though. Definitely wasn't here. I do remember seeing it, and I was like, well, first let's do the battle. Well, I'm sure it's probably nothing too important. Although, actually, no, it could be. It could be a weapon. Could be a bit of armor. I'm sure I saw it as I was coming down here. Maybe I'm just tripping. Sure I saw it. Ah well, never mind. Whee! Uh-oh. Oh!
Thanks, Gal.
I kind of want to use this a bit more, but the other spider is not coming over.
Blood, Clive.
Maybe it's Chris's
Still
blood.
wet.
Oh dear.
You were told to stay in your homes.
The Black Shields.
You know who we are. And still, you would bear your steel. Why then, we owe you our thanks. You have saved us the trouble of an interrogation. To dwell in darkness, that we may purge the night and welcome lasting dawn. On these, our swords we swear.
Say that again. I'll show you a true shield, Brazaria.
I bet he's like, oh fuck, what have I done? He's like, yep, okay. Maybe an interrogation would have been a bit easier. Pew, pew. Go Torgal. I'm gonna let Torgal finish him off.
Torgal, kill! Sick! All yours, Torgal!
Look at that backflip. Torgal knows what's on.
Tell me what I want and the end will be swift. Who are you looking for?
Why, you. We come bearing a message. Your friends have been found. The branded you freed from our camps. They await you in Aldil. Guardians of the Flame.
Those are Old Hill's gates.
Then we hurry.
I like how he said, like, your end will be swift if you tell us that he just died anyway. Oh, I bet we unlock that shortcut. Oh, it's gonna get serious now.
find something, boy. Death.
Found her.
Oh.
This was my mother's doing.
But why? Why would anyone...
I don't know. I never truly understood her. But this...
Oh, Clive.
I will learn what madness drives her, and I will end it.
I want to have a look at the active time law here and see what's going on. So there's quite a few ups. So bearers, person, customizer, crystal. Okay, the Cullings. It was ever a purpose in life to preserve a phoenix-bearing bloodline, for which reason she betrayed her husband, that she might enter in league with the force she judged the mightier. Now she rules over Rosaria as vicereine of the imperial province, which she rules with cruelty and contempt for the baseborn that was unknown in Archduke Elwin's day. Interesting. So she just switched alliances? An order of knights issued by Empress Annabella and one of her first act as vicereines of the newly established imperial province. They are tasked with purging the impurities from the province, which in practice primarily involves slaying bearers upon the slightest of pretexts. Okay. Cullings. Interesting. Okay.
We should go.
Yes.
We can't leave. I'm here like this.
We won't. But if the Black Shields have made it this far south, they may already be in Port Isolde.
Vivi! Not really sure. Oh, okay. What if I can unlock the bridge here? I guess not. Unless there's a... There's a contraption is somewhere else. Treasure.
We're approaching Buick Bridge. Though I doubt the Empire would let us cross over to Rosalith.
I don't want to kill the bluebird, but I want to fight, so... Oh, never mind. No, I'm strangling the chocobo. I'm just going to keep in this. Well, got a goblin coin out of it though. There's some random ominous guy.
Didn't happen to come by way of Oldhill, did you? Saw some Imperials clad in black making for the docks just the other day. The next morning, you couldn't see the sun from the grave.
Snow. They tell us there's a curfew, but then refuse us passage back to our homes.
Passage to the provincial capital is restricted to Imperial Army personnel.
The gates are closed! Begone!
They're all Rosarian.
But this is their home.
I'm hungry.
There's a chocobo right here you can eat. Aw.
The Empire would have us live in the Deadlands. You'll find no succor to the South Travellers, nor beyond the Buet. The Empire has seen fit to banish us from our own land.
Don't go thinking you'll find refuge in the houses outside Port Isolde. The place is a wretched hive of thieves and blackguards.
That's exactly where we want to go. Ooh. No. Lol. Alright.
The Lazarus. What happened to this place?
My mother happened. The nobles who lived here didn't stand a chance. Let's hope my uncle fared better.
So I guess this is...
We should start with the main gate and see where that
Okay.
gets us.
Switching targets is a bit annoying from that thing because he automatically he sort of automatically homes in on that. I mean, I'm finding... Oh, hello.
That's the main gate. And it looks like we're not the only ones hoping to get in.
It's interesting how much of Yoshida I'm actually seeing in this game. And that's not necessarily all good. There are good and bad. I think I've said this before, sort of in previous episodes. I think what Yoshida does is he's very good at creating an amazing sort of cinematic and putting it all together. But I do think he is I think he's a great businessman. I don't think he's an amazing creator, because Final Fantasy 16 so far, and I can say this because I'm approximately halfway through the game, I think played it very safe, and I think he stuck to his strength, which is good. But I definitely think that this should not have been a main title. I feel like this should have been some sort of spin-off, and I don't think Yoshida should be in charge of a mainstream Final Fantasy title, except for an MMO. I think Final Fantasy 14 is great. It has the similar faults that Final Fantasy 16 ended up having, but that's because it's just Yoshida, and, you know, he sort of does what he does well. But it'll be interesting to see how the general perception of Final Fantasy 16 ends up being sort of in the future, sort of in the next 6 months or so, once the bulk of the game sales have been made, because it'll be interesting to see. Personally, I'm really enjoying the game, but it's definitely not a 10 out of 10 game. Like, at the beginning, when I started, I felt this is going to be a 10 out of 10. You know, amazing cinematics, amazing voice acting, amazing story, amazing graphics. But I think as time went on, I was able to look past sort of that selling point and look more sort of critically at the game. And I could see that score sort of being slightly lower. Still a great game, still really enjoying it, but I'm at the point now where I'm waiting for a new, like, gameplay tool to develop, because at the moment, combat-wise and gameplay-wise, which is the most important thing, in my opinion, in any game, the gameplay, I think it's falling rather flat. So it's given us all these tools, but I'm using sort of the same abilities in the same manner again and again and again, and I'm just doing DPS. There's no status effects, be it negative or positive. There's no sort of change of pace. The enemies are basically the same, just changing model. So I have noticed that. I am not blindly just loving Final Fantasy 16. I do notice the good and the bad, and I'm hoping that there will be some change. Like maybe we get maybe we get an icon that is more status effect based, or at least changes the dynamics of the combat system, because at the moment it's the same sort of button combination that I've been using at the beginning. So that's my sort of little mini review at the moment, and I wonder how sort of other people felt about this. I think it's very easy to sort of get carried away with the story and the amazing soundtrack and the graphics and all that sort of stuff, because I have a feeling that detracts your attention from sort of the fundamentals of the rest of the game. I'm quite good at seeing past that. I'm good at seeing both sides. There's been moments in this game that no other game has really given me in terms of goosebumps for a very long time. But I think the line is being blurred now between a really high octane cinematic type video game and an actual RPG, so to speak, like a more traditional sense. So it'll be interesting to see. I'm just going to turn my fan on because it's actually relatively warm, so just put it on low there. There we go.
Let us pass! My children are starving!
Have mercy!
Voice-ridden dogs they are! You can't ignore us forever!
Let us in, or we'll die on your doorstep!
Better out there than in here!
No, get enough
Hang it, chinless bastards! Those crystals belong to us all!
I said, where were you, filth? Back to your sties! Cut you down where you stand!
Destroy it!
No chance of slipping through unnoticed. We'll need to find another way in.
Or just like summon your icon and literally crush everyone. Now we'll kill the civilians, but never mind. Shit happens.
I thought we might be able to reason with the guards. Or at least bribe them.
I suspect everyone in that crowd thought the same. Was that the only way in?
Officially, yes. Strictly speaking, no. My uncle once told me that the nobles had tunnels built, so that they could visit town without having to walk amongst the rabble. And Lazarus. We'll find our way into the city there.
If you're sure. The entire place looked abandoned. Do you think it's safe?
After everything we've been through.
As long as it is abandoned.
The good news is we haven't seen a single black shield since Old Hill.
Maybe they found who they were looking for.
So, I wonder what what Isabella will do once she finds out that Joshua is alive, because surely that must be,
Now we know why the refugees didn't come here.
Keep looking then.
That must be an important point. Lol.
This is nothing like I remember it.
How quickly a crown can lose its luster.
Not abandoned then.
Oi! Visitors!
Visitors!
Apologies. We'll show ourselves out.
Oh dear.
Or not.
Yep. Oh. No.
I've only ever seen one man fight like that. And he's long dead.
Then perhaps it's time you joined him.
The blessing of the Phoenix. It can't be. I was there when you died.
Wait, I remember him. Vaguely. He's that guy that got injured and we tried to heal.
Forgive me, my lord. I knew not whom I addressed. You have naught to fear from us. Founder, it really is you.
It is.
Sir Wade.
We can speak inside.
I've just killed like so many of his men. I assume those were his men. So yeah, you just killed everyone. Never mind.
And those who wouldn't bend the knee?
We left before the Empire could make examples of us, though we didn't go far. And we banded together to form the Guardians of the Flame soon after. Alas, there is only so much a handful of aging shields can do against the might of an empire. But we've seen to it that their stay has been anything but pleasant. Of late, though, we've had our hands full just trying to keep the Duchy's few remaining bearers out of the Imperial's clutches.
The Cullings. We saw what happened in Old Hill.
Aye. The foul work of the Black Shields and their mistress.
You mean my mother? But it doesn't make sense. Even knowing what I know about her. Her hatred for bearers was no secret, but she wouldn't have been ignorant of their value to the realm.
No offense, my lord, but in case you haven't noticed, the Lady Annabella couldn't care less about the realm. She barely even cares for her own home. That much has been plain since the slaughter at Eastpool. And, since granting the Holy Emperor a new heir, her obsession with bearers only seems to have grown. As to why, I don't know. Maybe she can't bear the thought of anyone having the power to challenge her beloved son.
Her son?
Of course,
So
it's
Wade,
Prince
the Black
Dion.
Shields have broken camp. They march in full force for Buick Bridge.
Then so do we. Make ready. This is their main host. If we remove the head, perhaps we can prevent what happened at the docks from happening somewhere else. If I do nothing, then the blood of their next victims will be on my hands.
Yours and ours. We too have witnessed the crimes these men who dare call themselves shields have committed in my mother's name. It cannot be allowed to continue. We must put a stop to this madness.
We must. So let us go with you. For the good of Rosaria.
I was hoping you'd say that. Very well. If that is your wish, I would be honored to serve at your side.
And we at yours.
So, Wade, let us do our duty.
With pleasure, my lord.
All right, well,
This endeavor will require more than just our wit.
I assume a boss fight is coming up.
Then let's hope Sir Wade has a good quartermaster.
Buck up, man. At least you're not dead.
I suppose we owe you our thanks. You spared us when you could have just as easily sent us to the mud.
Do we have like a... Oh yeah, there is a shop here. Okay, I just have to zoom in a little bit.
We'll show them that the
Okay, so we didn't actually kill them, I think.
so easily quenched. In the flesh. Saw him once when I was your age. He had that same look in his eyes.
Yep, it's me.
Allow me to tend to your needs, my lord.
No, same stuff. Oh, increases limit break regeneration amount by 3% when dealing damage. That's good, but that's actually extremely expensive. Oh, Desert Rose. Am I actually
As you wish, my lord.
I might actually buy a few because I've not found them yet. So, just 20.
Will that be all?
I'm not buying elixirs. Too expensive.
It has been an honor.
Tell us then, Sir Wade. What is your plan?
Nothing fancy. You, Lady Jill and I make for Buett Bridge and provoke the main host at their encampment. Sensing an opportunity to end the Guardians, the Black Shields will call for reinforcements, who will be met from the rear by parties of my brothers hidden throughout the surrounding hills. This will allow us to wage battle on the bridge without fear of being overwhelmed. While the Black Shields have an advantage in numbers, you see, they prefer to fight in small units, which we can use to our advantage.
How small exactly?
Small enough, now that I have you and Lady Jill for company. I doubt I could have done this on my own.
But until we arrived, that was your plan. You haven't changed a bit.
So Wade, the bearers from Old Hill have been laid to rest.
Very good. Now make ready for battle.
As you command.
Thank you, Sir Wade. Perhaps now they will find peace.
There is but one thing which will grant them peace. Putting an end to the Black Shields.
And so we shall.
Oh. Party members, throughout the main scenario, Clive will often be joined by various companions who are keen to lend assistance. However, depending on the time, they may choose to remain behind at the hideaway. Okay, that's interesting. I guess we can change party members at some point.
We'll keep them from the bridge.
May the blessing of the Phoenix go with you.
How long have you been pursuing the Black Shields?
Since they burned their first village. We tracked down the bastards responsible and fed their corpses to Stillwind.
Alright, well.
Suffice to say, that got their attention. It's been a game of cat and mouse ever since.
Faster!
Yeah, they've just got regular chocobos. Hello.
Look at me sideways.
He likes it sideways?
Bastards are looking at me.
There they are. On your command, my lord.
Ah, just go now. Might as well, eh?
What is it now? I told you! We bear a message for the Vicereine. From the Guardians of the Flame.
Ha! You presume to tell us that a pair of filthy vagabonds, a woman and a dog, could guard aught against the might of the Black Shields? Then come!
Little did they know!
Along with your flame! For Azaria! For Azaria!
Alright.
Your petty revolution ends here. On these our swords we swear.
They just don't learn, do they?
Bloody hell! Reinforcements from the far bank!
Oh, never mind. Oh.
More dragons.
Worms. The Imperials aren't taking any chances. I can't say I'm flattered.
I don't know what I'm doing. Lol. Might as well get this guy. Oh, ooh!
Stand, albeit
Another dragoon.
the misguided one. In taking it, you have but proven our point. That this land is in dire need of cleansing.
Ooh. Okay, I did some sort of weird precision dodge. No. Say, this is a new type of dodge. Oh, it's that thing I unlocked. Ah! Yeah, the new.
There's no one left to keep them occupied. We need to finish this.
We finish him.
That wasn't too bad. Oh, I think we level up as well, which is good. Ooh, get quite a lot of stuff, but this is just crafting, regular crafting materials.
I don't see any more.
Hello, Hazy. Good to see you. All is going well. All is going well. How's your Doom endeavors going?
The plan worked.
It did. It bloody worked. We sent every last one of the rotten bastards straight to the mud. My, Lord. Perhaps this will be enough to stop the Cullings. For the time being, at least.
Perhaps. Though I doubt my mother will take this loss well. She'll move swiftly to see her minions' ranks replenished.
And then it will all begin again. I often wonder if the nation we once knew is gone for good. Her fields rot. Her people starve. We battled to preserve the flame that was, but for every foe we fell, another springs up in its place. Yet be that as it may, it is still our home, and we must fight for it. As we always have, and always will.
Oh, Sir Wade.
For as long as the Firebird's flame burns in our hearts, the Duchy cannot die. And her loyal subjects may dream of a day when the Rosarian standard flies over Rosalith once more.
He's been practicing that speech in front of a mirror a few times.
Think we should fall back to Port Isolde before the garrison sends reinforcements?
Or we can just stay in the middle of nowhere. Yay! Oh, we got extra points as well. hunt point things.
And how long has my uncle been funding you and your comrades' endeavors?
Since the beginning. Lord Byron was the first person I turned to after forming the Guardians. And had I known of this tunnel back then, I wouldn't almost have been hanged by the city guard for trying to sneak over the wall.
I suppose a formal request for an audience would have appeared suspicious.
And appearances must be maintained. Were the Vice-Regency to catch wind of Lord Byron's involvement in our movement, they'd seize his estate and send him to the gallows, where he would be of no use to anyone. And so, though it sickens him to the soul, he plays the part of the loyal lord, knowing that one wrong move might prove his downfall. It is why he remains ever vigilant. Don't be surprised if he refuses you an audience, especially since you're famously dead.
Then I will have to think of a way to prove that I am neither wraith nor wrongdoer.
I might have something which could help with the latter. It's the mark of the Guardians. Display it, and those who love Rosaria will know where your loyalties lie.
Yay! We've got so many seals now. I can just imagine him like, just having lots of different badges, and people just like, hold on a second, let me just see if you got the right badge. Oh yes, that badge. Hello, good morning.
Or the Lord Commander.
Thank you, Sir Wade. If there is ever anything you need.
I know. Go on now, my lord.
Hello, Co. Welcome to the stream. I'm good. I went swimming this morning, so my arms ache. But other than that, I'm okay.
Accommodating. Do you really think they believe we are who we say we are?
Not a chance.
How are you?
All right, I guess. My uncle believes we're imposters here to rob him. And means to string us up himself.
That's one way to open a door. It's actually really unusually cold in the UK at the moment, which we had a mini heat wave, I think it was about a few weeks ago, but it was only like 28 degrees and it lasted for about 3 or 4 days. And then it's been quite cool ever since. It's been sort of high 10s, low 20s. Oh yeah, a good swim. Had a good swim this morning. I actually haven't been swimming for how many years? Probably a good 7 or 8 years at least, and I used to love it, but various things happened and I basically put it in the back burner. But it's been great. This morning going swimming for the first time in so many years felt very, very good. It's part of the new life. And then I cooked a really nice sausage and bean sort of casserole dish for lunch. Then I took a nap. Then I couldn't wake up because I was really tired and the bed's really comfortable. And then I woke up and I finished my pistachio cream with a few biscuits. And then now I'm here. Yes. So not an incredibly exciting day, but it was good enough and I enjoyed it. It was actually quite simple, but I really have enjoyed it. So, but it is funny, Co, because now I'm about halfway through the game, and I can start to see. I said it before. I don't want to go too much into detail, but it's funny because the more I play this game, the more I can tell that Yoshida is the director behind it, and that's not necessarily always a good thing. Yeah, it's starting to be a little bit concerning. Like, the story's great. I love the story. But I'm starting to become concerned that it's all story and actually very little substance. In terms of gameplay mechanics and the game itself, it just feels very bare. Like, you don't upgrade armor and weapons. There's no cool effects. There's abilities. You have a very large gap in the game between you get new toys to play with, essentially. So that's slowed down. There's a lot of like filler story. I'm very glad there's very few side quests in that regard, but I am starting to see Yoshida's touch of death, so to speak. So what started to be like a 10 out of 10 game for me, just because of like, wow, you've just got, all these tools and spells and abilities, and wow, the story's amazing, and oh my goodness, what's going on? The best boss fights ever. Now you're seeing sort of Yoshida's lack of creativity and sort of playing it very safe. So I've said it before, I kind of did like a mini review, so I don't want to say it again, but I'm hoping that things pick up in that regard gameplay-wise. Story-wise, it's great. I've got nothing against the story. The main story, at least. You're right about the characters, but I'm hoping that gameplay-wise it does pick up a little bit, mechanics-wise, because, even just having an icon that gives us access to a new way to play, like, for example, debuffs, or buffs, things like that would spice things up a little bit. Because right now it's just typical Yoshida, everything just does damage. Like, there's no elemental weaknesses, there's no resistances, there's no buffs, debuffs, there's just nothing weird like time magic. It's just, pure damage. So, yeah. Oh.
Imagine my surprise when I was told my nephew had come to visit.
Hello, Uncle. You know what, Ko? I'm thinking of agreeing. I think for now, for me, it's hanging between a 7 or an 8. I very much doubt I'll give it more than an 8.5 out of 10. Very much doubt, unless something drastically changes very soon. But at least if the game keeps the same sort of constant pace, just in general, story, gameplay, etc., I think it's going to be probably a 7.5, 8 out of 10. I just can't see myself. I can't see how reviewers have unanimously given this game a 10 out of 10. I'm just strongly disagree with that, because 10 out of 10, we're talking sort of legendary status here, right? 10 out of 10 is a legendary status game, like Zelda Ocarina of Time or OG Final Fantasy VII type legendary status for when they came out. I'm sorry, but Final Fantasy 16 should not be sitting on those giants' shoulders. So let's wait and see.
Clive Rosfield died long ago. And for uttering his name here, you shall pay with your tongue.
You could always ask some questions and just, ascertain that we are actually Clive Rosfield.
You would mock me as
That's so funny.
It is I, Sir Crandall of Camelot, loyal servant to Her Serene Holiness, Saint Sybil the Unshod. Meadow, thou vile sorcerer, for thy crimes against church and crown, I shall have thy head.
Oh god, no, I don't. That's funny.
Curse thee, infectious flax wench. Even in death, must thou plague me still? Very well. I shall open the gates of hell, that thou might see thy charge once more.
What a great scene. They were enacting their last sort of childhood scene with his uncle.
Bravo, Uncle. You're still the finest Meadow in the twins.
That was a very well done scene.
Oh, Clive, my dear boy, it's really you. 'You. 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 ' always were fond of that scene from The Saint and the Saint.
You know what's funny? And I bet so many people thought this. You know when he tried to grab his sword from his side? I thought that was actually a bug, as in, like, the model of the sword didn't show. You know, for a few seconds, just think, that's very weird. I can't be the only one, surely. I just thought the sword was missing. Right, I have to read this. The beloved Valestian fable, wherein good knight Sir Cranville of Camelot, servant of Saint Sybil Unshod, does battle against the evil warlock Mardu. The story was a favourite of the young Clive. But like I said, you know, the story is fantastic. You know, it's just the scenes, the cinematics. Yoshida is good at what he does in that respect. And I, you know, like I say, I think I definitely get my money's worth regardless. I think just because of the story. I am looking forward to playing hard mode. One thing that really pisses me off, really pisses me off about Square Enix in general, because they've done the exact same thing with Final Fantasy VII Remake, although I can forgive them, and I'll explain the why for Final Fantasy VII Remake, is not allowing you to choose hard mode at the beginning. You have to play the game on, you know, baby's first step, Fisher-Price mode. And I just hate it. In Final Fantasy VII, though, I kind of forgive them a little bit, although I'm still upset about it. It's because they fundamentally restrict the tools that you use. I guess it makes sense that you have to finish the game first on normal mode because of the way that hard mode was designed. But in this game, because everything carries forward, I hate the fact they don't let you pick hard mode from the beginning. I'm hoping that Final Fantasy VII Rebirth doesn't do that, but it probably will. I mean, it's obvious why they do it. You know, they want to increase replayability and all that, but still. It'd just be nice for someone that wants a challenge. To be fair, right now, we haven't really done any challenging encounters. Like, I'm sure there's difficult hunts, and I'm sure some of the boss fights will be difficult and end game stuff. You know, so I think it's unfair for me to sort of review that now. But so far, we're about halfway through the game, probably a little bit over, just judging by the percentage of, you know, in the PlayStation home screen. Devil May Cry 5 does it best. If you can clear the Plurot boss battle, that's the next difficulty. Yes, I mean, I just think don't restrict people. You know, I think they could have easily given people different difficulty choices, and I don't know why they've done it. They must have received a lot of complaints about Final Fantasy VII Remake, but, you know, there we go. Byron Rossfield, younger brother of Elwyn. I mean, it just makes sense, right? Because everyone's got different skill levels. You know, you're tailoring this game to millions of players. You're going to have people that want different kinds of challenges. And I think just having two modes, of which both are basically easier mode and easy mode, I just think is a bit silly. I'm not sure why they do it.
Never did let me play Sir Crandall.
Yes.
I have a favour to ask.
I mean, to be fair, the way Devil May Cry is, which is purely mission-based, they can design more difficulty modes. You know, obviously, it's going to be a lot more complex for a full-length RPG. Just make the hard mode available from the start. You know, people can decide what they want to do.
Rutherford, inform the kitchens. There'll be guests. We dine immediately.
But, Uncle...
You can't very well regale me with the tale of your miraculous preservation on an empty stomach. Go on, sit. See that you use the good plates, Rutherford.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. I think they could have done... I just don't like being artificially gated for no good reason.
So you arrived late to one of her cullings, did you? Since becoming Vicereine, Annabella has been a constant thorn in Rosaria's side, but these atrocities are a new low. Something has changed. Quite what, I don't know, but the woman we knew is gone, and a monster sits in her place.
Yes.
A monster.
Except in this case, it's easy and easier mode.
With governing this town, and thus must maintain the illusion of obedience. That's all I can do to aid Wade and his merry band of revolutionaries.
I mean, you can also have the game self-play by equipping the accessories. You know, the ones that basically say, hey, you equip this and you become invincible, or equip this and the game will literally do combos for you. Which is fine, I've got nothing against that, but that's one end of the spectrum, but you haven't essentially provided for the other end of the spectrum. Which is fine. I mean, some people just they literally just want to shut off and just play the game for its story. Perfectly fine. I just don't understand why it's so hard for Square Enix to understand that there are people that want to challenge as well. It kind of boggles my mind, really. Because you've designed already hard mode. It's not like it needs to come in a separate patch. You've designed it. It's ready to go. Just make it available. Very weird. Very weird.
So he's told us. You have risked much for Rosaria. Our nation will be forever in your debt.
It has been 20 years, Clive. The nation your father and your forefathers fought to defend is no more. Perhaps it would be otherwise had I the courage of my brother. All right, if it's a ship you require, a ship you shall have.
Yep, very true. But that's because Final Fantasy VII also had things like elemental weaknesses and actually had buffs and debuffs, and you can attack different parts. So they introduced a lot more complexity and variety in fundamentally the mechanics and the combat system. This is, 110% flashy, but that's really all it is, at least for now. I have not, there's just no complexity. It's all very visual. It's all very fast-paced. It's all very eye-gasm, but there's no variety in sort of... I don't have to think, is what I'm trying to say. It's all muscle memory. I don't have to think about what I'm doing. Like in Final Fantasy VII Remake, which I think has got the best battle system I've played in any RPG, there's a lot of things you have to consider. You've got to consider different party members for a start. You've then got to consider, obviously, your spells, and you've got your mana, and you've got limit breaks, and you've got to figure out sort of different combos. There's just so much more. 1 second. I've got a phone call. Sorry, it's just my dad. I said I'll call him later because I'm streaming. Right. Okay, let's. I'm actually going to look at the story now for a little bit because I do like this character.
Relieved of her cargo. She can be outfitted for the voyage in a matter of weeks.
So you believe us then? About everything?
Believe you? Ha! Only a fool would believe even half of the things you claim. But until tonight, only a fool would have believed my nephew still lived. And besides, I have it on good authority that Clive is telling the truth.
Whose authority?
Your own, of course. You've always been a terrible liar.
Is that true?
It's not untrue.
Oh, Jill, come on. That's like the most boring, witty line you could have come up with.
The one thing I cannot believe, though, is all this about you being Sid. You were always such a good boy. But now you're quite the outlaw.
Yeah, well, 20 years have passed.
Which, if I'm not mistaken, would make me an outlaw's uncle. Right then, who shall we pillage first? Rutherford, fetch me my cutlass. This will be fun.
I can see exactly what you mean about Jill, though. I was hoping she changed, but she's just literally there. Like, if she wasn't there, you wouldn't notice any difference in the story. I'm still hoping she has her moment, which she must do because we eventually get ice powers. So there must be some sort of, climatic scene involving her.
Once outfitted, she'll bear us across the boiling sea to Drustinus in the space of 3 days.
Could this be the moment? That she goes, "Oh, Clive!" No, it's not that it's not that moment.
When I served the Iron Kingdom, I did so because I saw no other choice. Because once they learned that the lash would not move me, they turned it on those who could. And so I became their puppet. I let them pull my strings, telling myself it was not my hand that swung the sword, but another's. I removed myself from the truth so I wouldn't feel the pain it caused.
Right, it bloody better be.
And before I knew it, I no longer felt anything. Anything at all. I had become a monster.
Jill.
Okay.
I don't want to be a monster, Clive. Do you understand? I want to choose a different path.
Yes, but you've been saying that for like the past 20 hours.
To live on my own terms. But before
I know.
I can do that, I need to come to terms with my past.
There we go. Oh.
And when you do, I'll be standing there with you, just as you stood with me.
Oh, come on. If this isn't the moment.
Thank you, Clive.
Just do it.
I must atone for my sins. Only then, when it's done, will the monster cease to be.
Just promise me that you won't die with it. No.
Oh, for goodness sake.
The journey back to Benamir is long, and there is much to tell the others.
I'm very disappointed. I thought that she would literally snap his dick for how rough she would ride him, but no. It's still intact. That is true. Where am I actually going? Oh, return to the hideaway. There we go. It's just there's so much red. No, it's true. I mean, but it's stuff that we knew. Do you see what I mean? Like, we knew about this.
Only the Founder knows what awaits us in the Iron Kingdom.
We knew all about what she was fighting. You know, we knew she was struggling. I mean, yes, it's a nice scene, but we need her character to move forward now a little bit. Ooh, ooh! There's a plus sign, so that's interesting, because that usually unlocks something, but we probably go here. I mean, people listening to this must think, like, I'm a virgin and you're a virgin and we just need to get laid. I mean, you know. Maybe the second part is true for me.
Life over there's the best thing to happen to the hideaway since innocence will ever.
Should we buy everyone a drink?
And she can pull an ale like no other.
Yeah, that's true. Oh. No, that's the wrong one. Sorrow's faded form. Oh, lol, it literally is the sound of silence. I was like, ooh, this sounds interesting. It literally is just no music. I have a feeling that Final Fantasy 16 suffers from the same thing Final Fantasy 14 does, where if you criticize it, you basically deserve to die a very slow death in real life. And it's only because it's been directed by Yoshida. But I think I'm being quite balanced with my sort of criticisms. I mean, I've said what I think the game does really well. I think it's a great game, but I definitely don't see it being a 10 out of 10 game by any means. I mean, when I was looking at the reviews, I haven't looked as in read them, but I was looking at the scores. 10 out of 10 was basically the main, maybe a few 9s out of 10s, but you think this is the next big thing. So far, I'm not seeing that. But then again, that's the same with Final Fantasy 14, exactly the same. People think, it's, it's the next best MMO since goodness knows when. And I'm like, well, actually, it's a very polished MMO, and it does a lot of things well, but I think it's great if you're a casual MMO player at first, but I think once you look for something more meaningful in terms of gameplay and development, then it does actually fall quite flat. But there we go. That's my opinion.
Oh, this? It's Valisthea, a culinary pilgrimage. I borrowed it from old Jones. Seems there's no creature in the realm so foul it can't be.
I don't. I mean,
delicious.
Before I get cancelled by Twitch and I have someone knocking on my door impaling me with rusty nails in my eyeball, I do actually like Final Fantasy 14. But I think after many years, because Yoshida literally never changes the formula, like since 2.0 launched, he never changed the formula. It's been the exact same. Then, in fact, he's actually made it worse, because I remember the golden days of Final Fantasy XIV were about, I think it was like 2.1, the 2.0 era. But then everyone started complaining that dungeons are too difficult. I have to do more than just press a button. I'm blindfolded. Then he basically caved in. He just said, well, let's make it easy mode. Which is a shame, because I remember the peak of Final Fantasy XIV was 2.1, when all the extremes came out and stuff. That was just beautiful. I love the challenge. I really did love the challenge of Final Fantasy XIV when it first came out. But I guess maybe because everything was new back then as well, there's a bit of nostalgia there. So it's kind of unfair to blame Yoshida on all of that. But, yeah, I'm with you. Never been the biggest fan of Devil May Cry, but that's because the type of game really isn't for me. So I guess, in that sense. Anyway, let's carry on.
Foul ones, thanks.
Where's your sense of adventure, Sid? Honestly, one glance at these recipes, and even you would trade in your sword for a butcher's cleaver. From spit roasts to sweetmeats, this book has them all. What I wouldn't give to bring these recipes to life.
If it's my blessing you're hoping for, then by all means.
Quest complete. Just get my
The
blessing.
first tunnel worm I came across would be the death of me. But you're made of sterner stuff. Would you help me resurrect one of these recipes?
I really liked Tales of Arise. I thought it was really good. I really liked, again, I think the combat system was a lot more fun. I liked the story as well. There were lots of pacing issues with the story though towards the end, but I personally liked them. I mean, the plot twists were just fantastic. I was kind of surprised that it received so much backlash towards the second half of the game and all the plot twist about the Renans and stuff. I'm very surprised because I actually really liked it. It's one of those plot twists that you sort of see coming, but you think, oh, it can't be because that's a bit ridiculous. But the game does a really good job of getting you sort of thinking towards that. and then sort of giving you that massive, like, what the fuck just happened.
Something tells me you won't be taking no for an answer. Fine, I'll help.
Fantastic! Thank you.
So, dare I ask what's on the menu?
Chance's Stew. It was once a favourite among the Gormans of Oriflamme, if the author is to be believed. Though Molly's never heard of it. The only problem is that while the recipe is extremely detailed in most respects, it's infuriatingly cryptic as to the main ingredient. A beast, no doubt. Most likely something that would make easy work of a simple cook with more broth than brawn, but unwanted violets. I've no idea what they might be.
Does the book say anything else?
Well, only that the sweetest violets sprout atop the bed of roses.
Roses? Rosaria, perhaps? One of the butchers in Martha's Rest might know something. I'll ask next time I'm there.
Yay! I mean, I'm really, really looking forward to Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. I think from what we've seen, it just is going to be mind-blowing. If they don't screw it up, but I think that game's going to be absolutely amazing. I don't think anything new has come up. The Wall of Memories, that's fine. Reading table, I'll check that out later. Let's go and... well, we need to go here anyway. I do wonder how much of a financial success Final Fantasy 16 is, because I'm sort of hearing mixed reports. Let's speak to the Moogle. I don't think there's anything new here, though. Oh, okay. No, I don't think there's anything new. That's fine. But we can go to Desiree.
Oh, I wasn't expecting you back so soon.
Yay! 115. Oh, 135. That's a bit unfortunate. So we get... oh, the Roses of Roses Orchestra and Empty Shard. I think it's a success. Do the ability to consider. You're absolutely right. I think that will skew the numbers. I think it was for last gen as well, or cross gen. I think obviously the cells would be much larger. Cleric's Medallion. It's a shame you can't actually see like what the stats are for that. It's a bit annoying, but...
Come again. I may have more for you.
How did we never hear about these
There
Guardians
are
of
new
the
billets
Light?
being posted every day, but not enough swords.
Clive! Oh, am I glad to see you?
Is something wrong?
It's Blackthorn. He ain't himself.
Mm.
And if I'm honest, he ain't been for a while. Yet normally it only takes a couple of drinks to perk him back up, but not this time. Something's getting him down. And whatever it is, he ain't telling. It's like he's lost his spark, you know? He's barely got enough fire in his belly to get the...
It'll be interesting to see what...
But I'm thinking he might if we both bent his ear, because he respects you, innit? So, what you say?
It'll be interesting to see what the next expansion for Final Fantasy XIV is going to be like. I'm quite excited for it because obviously, you know, new graphics, always good. I think for me it will depend mostly on what classes are released. We know it's going to be 2 DPS classes because they're not going to release a tank and a healer, I think. Maybe a tank and a DPS, but I think it's likely they're going to release 2 DPSs. I hope they add some complexity and some extra mechanics, but I don't think they will because it's simply Yoshida. If someone else took over, then maybe, but...
Fine. If you think it will help.
I knew you'd understand.
I think the problem is not so much... I think the game is extremely balanced. Like, every class is viable. I think the point is they need to introduce more variety, as in variety in terms of gameplay, because all the classes play very, very similarly within the same role. There are a few exceptions, but, you know, when I play a healer, you're usually got the same basic kit with very few differences. But I'm hoping that they do introduce some new tools to the gameplay, and that will get me to come back. But we'll see. I'm not sure. It will depend a lot on what the new classes are and what the new level cap raise sort of ends up doing in terms of new abilities for existing classes, because that's quite important as well. Because all it takes in Final Fantasy XIV is one ability that can actually change your whole rotation. So I haven't got experience with Summoner, so I don't know. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see.
But if he doesn't want to talk, we let him be. He'll open up when he's ready.
All right.
All right.
Now, he'll only smell a rat if we both turn up at once. So I'll go first, and you can meet us at the forge. Wait a bit, then head over when you're ready.
I'm interested to see what this plus gives us, because the previous one gave us a chocobo, which was a huge deal. So I'm quite interested to see what this gives us.
Typical nobles. I could have sworn.
Actually, I think Stormblood was probably my favourite expansion, which is quite controversial since Stormblood is generally accepted to be everyone's or most people's least favourite. I really liked it. I really liked the Asian theme. I loved the story. I loved Yotsuyu. Yeah, I just really liked it.
That monster's taken quite a liking to Lady Karen.
Torgal. Hello. So that'll be something to do with crafting. I wonder what it is.
1st August, and now you. What are you pair up to? What's it got to do with me?
August was worried that something had been weighing on your mind. I thought you might want to talk about it.
Did you now? I told you not to stick your nose in my business. What'd you go and do?
Clive just wants to help, innit? What's so bad about that? Talk to him. You never know, you might feel better for getting it all out in the open. Please, mate. I'm worried.
I love the dungeons. I love the dungeon design of Stormblood. I still think they're the best, in my opinion. Fantastic. I just really liked Stormblood. I remember it as sort of my favourite expansion. I enjoyed it. The story. I liked the sort of the darker tone of the story. Heavensward was great, but I actually found that there was a lot of filler in Heavensward, but once it got going, it was brilliant. The story was fantastic, but there was a lot of downtime. Whereas I think Stormblood was a bit more. It had multiple story paths, and it sort of it mixed the cheery part, with the sort of big field. I can't remember, with that sort of tournament. Can't remember what it was called in that large grassy map. So it mixed that up with some of the seriousness. But yeah, I really liked Stormblood. I think it was definitely my favourite expansion so far. I liked Shadowbringers, but I think Shadowbringers was overrated. People like saying Shadowbringers is the next big thing. I liked it though. Oh yeah, Yotsuyu I think was my favourite antagonist, and I think she was underrated, but I also think she died a bit too early. I wish she got a little bit more screen time, but that's only because I absolutely loved her as a character. She was fantastic. And her boss fight as well, so when she turns into Tsukuyomi was, I think it's still one of my favourite boss fights. Like the theme, the stage, the music. I really, really liked it. I struggled in that fight quite a lot, actually, with the mechanics. But I loved it.
Phil shut you up. It's nothing, really.
I think it's just because Lisa's just there. She's.
Why don't you tell us all the same?
I think it's just similar to Jill. Like, after a certain point, she stops being Papalimo's assistant and just exists.
Karen and I have an arrangement. I keep an eye on Goots, and she shows me what the competition's up to. Interesting arms and armour, things like that. Anyway, the other day, she shows me a cuirass she's come by. Masterpiece of level work. Light, supple, and tougher than it had any right to be. Made my stuff look like every clumsy shit. I should have brought the bastard thing there and then just to study it, but I was too proud. And now every time I reach for my hammer, I'm reminded that I'm not the craftsman I thought I was.
Oh dear.
There. You happy? You got what you came for. Now piss off.
Wow.
Right. We're going.
Talk about troubled.
I always thought of old Blackthorn as a bit of a force of nature. Like a storm cloud full of ale. Didn't think anything could rattle him. Least of all a stupid piece of leather.
Blackthorn's always taken pride in his craft. Questioning it means questioning himself. Something tells me this is only going to get worse. If he has doubts, it will affect his work, which will only add to his problems. We need to nip this in the bud.
I couldn't agree more.
He said he should have bought that cuirass. Perhaps we should track it down for him. Assuming you're happy to help, that is.
Too bloody right I am.
Glad to hear it. First things first, then. We need to speak to Karen.
I'm just wondering how it will expand the crafting, because this will obviously expand crafting somehow.
Liking to Lady Karen.
Karen, do you have a moment? Blackthorn mentioned that you'd recently come by a leather cuirass. An exquisite example of the craft, from what he told us.
And he ain't been himself since he saw it. So we thought we'd buy it for him.
Sorry, sold it already. Didn't think Blackthorn cared for it the way he turned his nose up. But it was nicely put together, that's for certain. Even if the bloke who made it is a bit of an odd one. Happened across him on my travel.
Well, I think, you know, it is what it is, right? I think there's no point kidding ourselves. We can look at things objectively and come to a conclusion. I think it also depends on who you ask. I think a lot of people that I've seen on forums and stuff do actually say that Final Fantasy 16 is sort of overhyped and overrated, but still a good game, which is what we're saying. But it, like I said, it does have its faults. And I think it's sort of similar to like The Last of Us in the sense which I find to be extremely overrated and overhyped. But it's a good story, you know, it's got good characters, it's, you know, it's got a good setting and a theme, and I think Final Fantasy 16 sort of played it that way. It has played it safe, and I think there's no denying that. But it'll be interesting to see after Final Fantasy 16 who's essentially going to be in charge of designing Final Fantasy 17. Because I'm going to be honest, after this, I'm going to be a little bit more cautious, as in, like, you know, I'm not going to be sort of maybe like pre-ordering it straight away. I might wait until it launches. And do you see what I mean? And I think a lot of people are going to be like that once Final Fantasy 17 comes out. I personally don't think Yoshida's going to be in charge of Final Fantasy 17. I don't know why. I just get that feeling where he's just going to be in charge of maybe either another project or a spin-off, but I don't think he's going to be in charge of the next main Final Fantasy title.
Makes all his stuff to order, but the fella who commissioned it refused to pay. He didn't like the colour of summit. So I took it off his hands for a fair price.
You don't know where we might find him, do you?
Like I said, he's a bit of an odd one. Doesn't even have a workshop. Don't trust hunters neither, which means he spends as much time out tracking beasties as he does working their hides.
I see.
He did tell me something, though. Apparently, his next commission's for a set of griffin hide greaves.
Here, there's a griffin on the hunt board.
Oh, we've done that?
Placing bets on who'd bag it. Now, where the bleeding hell was excited?
Yay! We did it!
Maybe Care Northern. That was it.
I think. Unless it's a new one.
We'd be lost without you.
At least you admit it.
So, it sounds like going after that griffin might be the best chance we have of finding our roaming leatherworker.
I'll leave the hunting to you if you don't mind.
No, it's a different one. It must
While you get
be.
on with that, I'll ask around the markets. See if I can't sniff out who he is and where he's hiding.
Good idea. Hopefully one of us will be able to track him down.
Use the hunt board. Okay, so it's a new thing. Makes sense.
did we never hear about these Guardians of the Flame?
Ah, it's a new one, okay. Ooh. What rank is it? B. Okay, so it's still going to be quite easy then, because B wasn't too bad. We almost did die to it, to be fair. The Broken Hilt in Rosaria. No. Caer Norvent Westgate, okay. Hasn't sort of moved forward, so... Right, Caer Norvent Westgate. Right, let's have a look. Central Rosaria, Caer Norvent. Somewhere here, wasn't it? Central Sanbreque. Caer Norvent, local map. Western Gate, Glorious Gate. Western Gate should be here then, surely. Eh? Dragon's Eyrie. Surely it must be this then, because this is sort of, well, west is this way. I'm gonna have to look at this again. Caer Norvent Westgate in Sanbreque. Caer Norvent Westgate. I didn't see Caer Norvent Westgate. That's the Glorious Gate. Is there a Westgate? The Hand of Nemus. No. Northreach. That's not it. Maybe Lostwing? Norvent Valley. The Westgate. There doesn't seem to be anything saying Westgate though. Oh, maybe it's these little things. Westwatch. Okay, that's not the same thing. Rivergate. Eastwatch, so it's not there. I'm so confused. The Westgate. I mean, maybe here? Caer Norvent Rivergate? I mean, I could try that. That's a bit of a slog, though. Cellar Passage, Cutter's Gate. Vinter's Gate. There's no Westgate! I'm guessing it's here because it's kind of like west. Like this is the west section. There's also Westwatch, but there doesn't seem to be a gate. Am I being blind? I feel like I'm being somewhat blind. Royal Meadows, more. You know what? Let's just go here. And then I'm going to have to go as well, actually. So let's just see if we can find it. Westgate. It's quite a ride, but... Oh, this place is like a mini maze, so I need to sort of... Okay. I'm hoping...
Ambrosia won't help me here.
Well, actually, she will.
Ambrosia now.
No! Call Ambrosia! Okay, I have to get through here. Oh.
Not here.
Right, let's see. Fly Ambrosia, then smacks the tree. Right, okay. I forgot to buy drinks for everybody at the hideout. That 2 gil will surely help me towards buying all those drinks. I don't think this is the right way. I think this is quite far-fetched, but...
Alright.
Oh. Are you it? No. No! Damn collision. Right, let's try going up here. I'm interested in these structures because they do come up quite a bit. Right.
Griffins don't exactly make for easy prey.
Aha!
Let's hope
We were right.
Craftsman hasn't bitten off more than he can chew.
Yay, detective work.
Be safe.
Look sharp.
I agree. No. Oh, yes. Uh-oh. Oh, shit.
To me, boy.
I'm just pressing buttons, by the way, so... We need to do a rank A. I gotta see what this quest gives us, though. Ooh, Scarletite. Okay, one of the hardest metals known to man. Only second to my dick.
Is something there, boy?
He was spying on us from the bushes.
Could that be our man? Are you all right?
Dare say I'll survive. That griffin caught me before I could get an arrow off. Must have lost sight of me in the grass, though. I'd be dead if it hadn't.
More likely than not.
The name's Camille. I'm a lowly leather worker, if you couldn't tell by the smell of me.
Not so lowly from what I hear.
Smell like dead cows.
I remember selling to a merchant by the name of Karen.
She's not an easy woman to forget. Bought a cuirass from me after I lost my buyer. Quite taken with my work, as far as I recall. Didn't stop her bartering me down to a pittance, though. She sent you for a refund?
Lol.
It's not her who sent me.
Wait, I wonder if he's going to go back to the hideaway and it means we can now get leatherworking stuff. Not that it makes much difference because it's just that thing and it doesn't change our appearance.
Consider me flattered.
Unless that's about to change.
He's a master of his art. And not an easy man to impress.
Blacksmiths are proud folk. It's a rare thing indeed for one to praise a glorified tanner. And I don't imagine an impressive swordsman like yourself would be getting your steel from any but the best. I'd dearly love to help a fellow craftsman, but... Well, actually, I suppose you could give him this.
What is it?
Treated leather. Same stuff I used to make that cuirass. If your man's as skilled as he sounds, he'll know what he's looking at.
You sure?
Well, you did save my life. And thanks to you, I'll be going home with all the griffin hide I can carry. I'd say it's the least I can do. Short of showing him how to make the thing myself, that is. But there are rules against it. Secrets of the trade and whatnot.
Selfish twat.
Case, I'll see that he gets it.
I'd be much obliged if you would. Right. I've got some greaves to make. You send your blacksmith my regards.
Will do. And thank you.
How friendly we're all being. Right, I kind of want to see what the reward is. So
this will sweeten Blackthorn's mood.
Oh, I like griffins. Never mind. Moving on. Oh, that's the other quest. Okay. Well, let's go back here, because I do need to go soon, but I do want to finish this quest.
That monster's taken quite a liking to me.
And with a bit of luck, Clive might even find the geezer. How'd it go, Clive? Did you find him, or does the hunt continue?
I found him. And he asked me to give you this. Along with his regards.
You're joking.
He starts hammering the leather.
He said he wouldn't teach you how to work it, but that if you were as skilled as you sounded, you'd have no trouble understanding how it was done.
So that's his secret. Crafty bastard. He's layered and cross-grained it. Good few times, too. No wonder it's tough. And that's no ordinary oil he's used to get that finish. Oh, this is fine work. Even finer than I thought.
Yeah? I'll take your word for it. Just looks like leather to me. Still, I'm glad you're happy. Here, Clive. You didn't happen to catch the fella's name, did you?
Bob.
Camille, I believe.
I thought as much. There ain't many leather workers in the realm daft enough to do their own hunting, see? And his name kept cropping up when I was asking around. Turns out he's from Tabor. And again, most leather workers are. But our friend Camille guards a long-held family secret, the details of which are the subject of some debate in the leather-working community.
Then we better keep this close to our chests.
Listen, sorry for putting the both of you to all that trouble. Should have kept my moaning to myself.
Reward.
Still, I'm glad you found him. This has cheered me right up.
That was the idea. Clive's idea, anyway. He did most of the work.
As in all the work.
Just don't expect me to go turning out work like this. There's a reason he does his own hunting. He knows exactly what hides to look for. And that's how he gets them to layer up so nicely. And don't get me started on how much oiling this leather would need.
Oh dear.
I reckon I can make something about as good. Something a Cursebreaker will have no trouble caring for. Anyway, enough narrowing. I've got work to be getting on with.
My reward.
Looks like we won't be needing a new blacksmith.
As if there was a better one out there. I wouldn't have been the same anyway. No one spins a yarn like old Blackthorn in his cups. Right, now that's sorted. I've got duties to attend to. Thanks, Clive. You've given me my mate back.
Yes, but can you give me a reward? Right. I'm quite curious to see. Oh, okay. Literally. Ah, a dog obtains steps to craft a belt fit for hero, necessary for crafting the Drake Slayer's belt. So it's not necessarily. Oh, okay. So it's not doesn't unlock like a new feature of the game, but just like a new recipe. Right. Well, let's go for it. Design drafts. You have obtained design draft of the Drake Slayer's belt. Design drafts unlock new crafting options at the Black Hammer. Visiting Blackthorn and Hideaway for details on material. Cool.
What do you need? So, what'll it be?
Drake's. Oh, we're missing the Electrum. Oh, it's very powerful.
Don't waste my time. You ain't got the stuff.
How does one check? Oh, I see. There's a little hunt board symbol, so I assume we have to do a mission for it. That makes sense.
That it? Fine.
Well, let's go and see whatever that woman's name is with the extremely high-pitched voice that gives us rewards. That's new? No. Desiree, that's it. No, there's no new hunts, otherwise the icon would have a little thing. Gold
Welcome
ring.
to the Patron's Whisper. Your benefactors are a generous lot.
Right, so we get the Orchestrion. Okay.
Here you are.
Oh, I was hoping we get some gear. I guess it's the next one. 205, we get the Cleric's Medallion +1. So obviously, something
Come
to do with
again.
healing.
I may have more for you.
Right, I think this is a good place to end it, actually. We'll do, in the next episode, we'll obviously do this next side quest here, get that out of the way, and then we'll carry on with the story. Cool. I've actually lost track of sort of my abilities. I've got 1756. That's actually quite a lot. But I'm not really sure what to upgrade. I think I might want to go with Will of the Wykes. But the mastering allows you to equip it to, you know, any icon, which is good. Because it means I can have multiple, you know, I can have more than 2 fires, for example. I might replace Thunder actually, because I'm not really that enjoying it very much. Could upgrade this, Rising Flames. Increases hits, allows assignment to any icon. I don't really want to though. Upgrade. See, this is quite nice. Oh, so it absorbs projectiles. Might actually play around with this. Oh no, I'm going to save it for the Limit Break. I think, yeah, Limit Break. We're only like 250 away from it, so Limit Break it is. Right, well, that's that. Right, I'm going to make some food, and I shall be back. Maybe not tonight, depends on whether my friend wants to play. I'm not actually sure. But if not, then I'll definitely be streaming some more. So, thank you for your company as always, Co, and Hazy for popping in. I appreciate it, and I will see you all very shortly. Bye-bye.